So being 6 p.m., I'll call the meeting of the Grafton Finance Committee to order. We'll be operating tonight under the governor's executive order allowing for remote participation. All votes will be done by roll call vote. So first on the agenda, we have a reserve fund transfer request from Bob Berger. Bob is here tonight. Welcome, Bob. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
If you want to walk us through the reserve fund, I'd appreciate it.
I don't have that document in front of me, but we hired a plan reviewer to get us through some extraordinary times, and we seem to need to replenish that account, and we requested $5,000 to go into the overtime account. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but they are on the form that was submitted.
Yeah, we all received the form and the request. Oh, there you go. Sue
Okay.
has it on the screen.
Yeah.
What's the current balance in the reserve fund right now? Mary, does anybody know?
It's negative 2,600.
No, I'm talking about our reserve fund, Bob, not your account.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I think after this and another one, it's the balance will be 48,000 as I recall, but I'm not sure.
With the two we're going to consider tonight?
Yes.
Yeah.
46.
Okay, thank you very much. Does anybody have any questions for Bob? It seems pretty straightforward.
I do have just one quick question, just out of curiosity.
Go ahead, Irene.
So Bob, you don't have any other expense accounts you could transfer from, within your department, supplies or, something like that?
No, that's on the wrong side of the budget. This is actually an employee that we hired.
Yeah,
That is as needed, so I can't go from the bottom line and bring that money up to the top.
oh, okay. Okay,
And just for some more clarification, because I have the floor just for a second.
yeah,
Year to date, just in building permits alone, the town has brought in 340,000 and change.
okay,
March, we issued 60 permits. April, we issued 70 permits. These are larger numbers, and I'm concentrating on these larger projects like 8 Pine Street, which is a $110 million project, which before we're done, will bring in a $1 million permit fee. So my time is being spent on developing relationships with the contractors and with the developers on these larger projects.
okay. And like you said, this is a revenue generating activity. Fair enough.
Okay.
Are there any other questions for Bob? Okay, seeing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve the reserve fund transfer request in the amount of $5,000. Can I hear a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll
Thank you.
second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor by roll call: Barry,
Aye.
Sue Robbins,
Aye.
Angelina,
Aye.
Irene,
Aye.
Heather,
Aye.
and Andy.
Aye.
Mark, aye. Thank you very much, Bob. I appreciate it.
All right, everybody have a great night. Thank
You
you.
too. Sue, if you could stop sharing the screen. Next on the agenda is a reserve fund transfer request for, I believe, $10,000 from our town administrator. Evan, you want to explain it to us?
Sure. So we are undertaking a salary and classification study. I think we might have discussed that at the last time we met. And the low bid that we got was $40,000 to do all the positions that we want to do.
Who's doing it?
It would be the Collins Center through UMass. It's actually hard to get anybody to even respond, to be quite honest. I think there's a lot of work out there right now.
I know, and they did a study for me. They do a great job.
Okay, great. So the amount of positions we were looking at, it came to $40,000. We were able to get a community compact grant for $30,000. So we were requesting the $10,000 to cover the gap.
That's pretty straightforward. Any questions of Evan?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Barry.
In general, how many towns will the Collins Center survey for $40,000?
So we have some say in the matter, but generally they start at 12. And depending on how your town likes to operate, many times they'll start with 12 and they'll let each union pick one to get rid of. Or you can just stick with 12, or you can pick 10. but it'll be 10 or more at the end of the day.
They'll work with you on picking the communities too, Evan. They'll
Yep.
ask for your input. At least that's what they did
Absolutely.
with me.
Yep.
Any other questions? All right, seeing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve a reserve fund transfer request in the amount of 10. Oh, Barry, go ahead.
If you give me 10,000, I will go on the internet and look at each town's posted budget and ballpark numbers for you. Only $10,000.
Okay.
Okay, although I will still entertain a motion to censor Barry at the meeting tonight. I'd entertain a motion to approve the reserve fund transfer request in the amount of $10,000 as requested. Can I hear a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Irene. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by roll call. Barry,
Well, there goes my 10,000. Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Angelina,
Aye.
Irene,
Aye.
Heather,
Aye.
Andy,
Aye.
Dan.
Aye.
Mark, aye. All right, thank you very much, and good luck with that, Evan. I think it's great that you're doing that.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is an update from Evan and Mary on the budget. Evan was kind enough to send out, which I thought was a very thorough document, and I thank both you and Mary for getting that to us in advance. I found it very informative and very easy to follow and understand exactly what you're doing, which of course is going to generate a ton of questions from us. But that said, why don't we turn it over to Evan and Mary, and if you guys want to walk us through what you did in any manner in which you want, and I'm sure we'll jump in and we'll start asking questions.
Okay. Mayor, do you mind if I start off and I will put up a little 2-slide PowerPoint and we can just talk about kind of the high level changes since we last met?
Certainly.
Okay. And I think I can.
Hey, could everybody do me a favor when the PowerPoint's up? If you have a question, use the raise your hand function so I can see you and call on you, please. Sorry about
Alright.
that, Evan. Go ahead.
No, absolutely. So this is just a real brief 2-slide recap of everything that we've changed in the budget. We did create the change log in there. That was an additional tab for you folks to look at. However, it gets a little dense because every time we moved a salary number, even $1, we put that on there, just so that we had track of everything we had touched since inheriting this budget. So the kind of the highlights of those changes are we increased snow and ice by $50,000. That's something we had talked about when we had met with you folks, kind of trying to get away from the end of year transfer and build that fund up a little bit. We funded 4 new positions. 2 of them are library associate positions that we had discussed. One is the financial analyst position for Mary's office that we discussed, and one is subject to GMEA ratification. Now, I will say that this created new position is offset by the elimination of other part-time positions, so it does not impact the budget in the same way it would if we were just creating a full-time position. Yes, there's a benefit component, FICA, the rest of it, but it has to do with shift scheduling. And I don't want to go too far down that rabbit hole because they haven't ratified yet. They will do that hopefully this Friday. Wage changes. So we adjusted all salaries for a 2% cost of living adjustment for non-unions. We put a percentage holder in place for GMEA employees and the same for Grafton PD employees. So GMEA, I've heard from today, we are done negotiating with them. That contract just needs to be voted by their members and then the select board. Select board's aware of every change that is happening, and I don't foresee any issues there getting that through. Grafton PD, we are still negotiating with, and I don't have a end date for that, or even a suspicion of when that might end. Veteran service line, we were able to decrease it by 18,000 by looking at historic balances and what we've used out of that account. We're also able to decrease our insurance line by 15,000, and that's above the 37,000 credit we have on the books. We refinanced a whole bunch of debt for the town. And our overall debt payment increased by 162, but that includes your library and other new things coming online. However, the refinancing did it will save roughly $850,000 over the life of the bonds. And then the fire department changes, which we discussed, I just want to reiterate here. We adjusted the full-time chief down to 100,000 since we likely won't be hiring a chief until late fall. And then we added $5,000 for backup hours for the fire protection officer, or prevention officer, excuse me. And then restored the equipment line back up to 100,000, as we had also discussed. Those are kind of the big ones.
Can I interrupt for 1 second?
Sure.
On the chief adjustment, it makes perfect sense to adjust it down to the 100,000 to balance. But that's going to create an issue for you when you start the fiscal year 23 budget.
Mhm.
When you bring on the full-time side, which is estimated to be what, in the 130s?
130, yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
so are you concerned about that going into next year? Or do you think you'll be all set? I see Mary
Nope,
shaking her head.
Yep, no, I think we'll be all set. We've left ourselves enough capacity where we'll be able to pick that up. One thing you'll notice about the budget is we did not dollar for dollar move things. So we didn't, move 30 grand out of this and bump 30 grand somewhere else to make sure we kept the budget level. Both of our philosophies are, if we don't need it, we don't raise it. So, we're working pretty hard to make sure we're keeping things as tight as possible. That's the whole little PowerPoint. Wasn't not really a showstopper, but I think it
Best PowerPoint presentation I've ever seen. Evan. Was phenomenal. So if it's okay with you, I want to share the change log.
Yes.
If I had it open and now I don't know what I did with it. There it is. Hold on 1 second. The figures on the night of the finance committee meeting, I'm having severe computer problems. Sue, do you have that document? Can you share it? My
I have
computer's
it open,
refusing to
Mark.
work.
Mark, I've got it open.
Oh, can you share it then, Irene, please?
Yeah. Let's see if it's share screen. Yep, here we go. And it's this one. Okay, can everybody see that?
Perfect. Yes.
Okay.
So this is the sum. Thank you. So Evan, this is the sum of every single change that you made, including salaries.
Correct. Aside from one that we made today that's not reflected in here, based on a board of select board vote last night. And so,
Oh, the $3,000.
yeah, exactly. So we moved that money dollar for dollar out of the Together We Can line and into the animal control line because we were short. We're going to be short there, projecting what we're going to spend. So it seems like for some reason that line was historically underfunded and then transferred to at the end of the year, which I think Mary and I have explained. That's not how we roll. So we were gonna be bumping that up probably anyways if it came to it. So we just put it there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's the only difference.
And then, so copiers, I see what you did there. Municipal center makes sense. Very upset you took 75,000 from us. We're reeling from that. The council on aging director salary, that was an agreement that was made with the director and you're honoring it.
Yes.
All right, before I go on, I see Dan, you have your hand raised. Do you have a quick question?
Yeah, Evan, you said the animal control line was historically underfunded and then filled in later. Okay.
Yes.
For I guess the people who've been here longer, do we know if this is like a recent thing with the past few years, the change to the regionalized animal control department?
Yeah. I don't have all of the history on it. We went back a few years and were able to just look at how these things were funded in the past. there's a few lines that were like this, and so I don't know if they were kept low on the front end to be transferred to on the back end purposely, or if there were other expenses not accounted for. But, you know, we have the agreement we have is regional, and that's, you know, and I don't have it in front of me, but X number of dollars. But then if you, let's say we have a dog that stays in the kennel for a month, there's fees associated with that. And then there's fees associated with, say, rabies testing and stuff that's not captured in that agreement. And so us padding that by $3,000, $3,000 to $5,000 is probably going to be where you need to be in the end.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Anything else, Dan?
Nope.
The town accountant, the 65,000, that's the assistant position that we talked about. How you
Correct.
guys doing with that? Have you filled it yet?
Interviewing next week.
So we received an email. You have a new employee in the accountant's office. I got an email today. Didn't recognize the name.
Yes, so we had, we parted ways with an employee, and this is a temporary employee.
Oh, until you
to-
fill the position. Okay.
Yep, while you know, so that Mary can continue to get stuff done.
Mary, he looks out for you. I kind of like that. That's awesome. Awesome. And then, hey, Irene, if you can scroll all the salary lines down. So all these salary adjustments, these are the union impacts, and that's what all this is here.
Yeah.
Correct, yep.
So can we go to the summary page?
Yeah, before I left that.
Okay, so the total budget's going up 3.3 from what was originally sent to us to what you're giving us now. What's the number difference? I couldn't figure that out. I'm sorry, should I not have asked that?
No, and you absolutely should not have. So no, here's the rub, and I'm gonna say this in a the most political way I can. We had discovered numerous issues with the budget that was originally presented to you. So the number on that budget, in my opinion, and I think this is Mary's opinion too, was artificial in some ways. So to track the delta between the two, we can give you what the delta is, but it doesn't really have any significance because there were so many numbers that were in error and things that were counted on the revenue side that should have been on the operation side. It was really just a number with nothing. It wasn't a valid number.
You answered my question. So here's my follow-up question to that.
Okay.
How much of the override are you using to balance this budget?
So if you recall, and I'm going to try to pull this up for me. Mary, do you have it open?
So you want to, if you could stop sharing, Irene, so that Evan can,
Yeah, it's just going to take me a second to it. Just give me 1 sec.
I'm
So
sorry that I'm dominating this
Nope.
discussion. I apologize.
I think that is very valid. So let's see. Let me just pull that up really quick. If you recall, Carter's projection was $861,000. Our projection is lower than that.
That's a good thing.
Yes, let me pull this up. All right, let me share this. Sorry, it just took me a second to get this open. This is our override synopsis.
Yeah, I would go to the first tab, Evan.
Okay.
Right there.
Mary, do you want to speak to the tab?
Yeah.
Okay, you go ahead and tell me where you want me to go.
Okay, so in FY '21, you received your $3.2 million override. And in closing FY '20, you had an excess capacity of 2.2 million. So the 917, that's exactly what you've used of your override in FY '21. And I broke it down. It was rather easy because one, we budgeted to max capacity. So it was easy to differentiate what was town and school. And then we also raised some things on the tax rate recap, which also was part of the override.
So,
So if- go
so,
ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt. So the 917 is more than we originally thought when we went to town meeting in the spring, because somehow the number 878 is in my head. Am I off on that? Finance committee?
I don't
anybody?
know what the original projected number was, but that is your final number that was used.
When you set the tax rate?
Yes.
Anybody on the finance committee remember a lower number, or am I crazy?
I remembered something in 867, but that's just, it was close to what you were saying.
Yeah, so it seems like, so we ended up, because of whatever reason, we ended up using more of the override for FY '21 than we thought, but now we're using less than
Right.
what Carter had. So, I'm sure at the end of the day, it's a wash, but I just want to make sure we understand what's happening here.
Right.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, Mary, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's okay. So then, so what we would do for this year's budget is we start at what was left off at your excess capacity from last year. Because you want that 3.2 million to last the 5 years. So if I take that and then I subtract out what's excess in our capacity this budget, we have $738,000 that we're using of the override.
Is there a chance in the fall, before you set the tax rate, that new growth may come in higher and you'll end up using less of that number?
Yes.
That's good
And
news.
that's a valid point. That's what I wanted to make too, because this is a fluid number. This can change. It could decrease, it could increase, depending on your special town meeting and the tax rate recap. You know, if we raise certain things on there, Carter raised 25,000 for tax title. There was something else he raised on there that contributed to the 35,000. So yeah, it's a fluid number, and I'm giving right now, as I'm presenting the budget, it is 738. But when I'm done with the tax rate recap, it will be a different number.
Understood.
Okay.
So are you and Evan confident that based on, I'm sure you guys are doing projections for the next several years, the 1.5, do you think that'll get us 3 more years?
Yes,
Yeah.
according to what the needs of the school, yes.
Okay.
And then we'd have the 2.5% of our levy capacity. I believe we'll be okay.
Awesome. And there's no change in the amount of money that the school budget was originally presented. That's still the same number? We haven't adjusted that, right?
No, still the same.
Thank you.
All right. I'm gonna stop the share if anybody wants to see me.
Well, Barry still wanted you to share it, Evan. Nice.
You want me to
going.
share it out, Barry?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yeah. If you can resolve this question. Okay, I'm looking at columns E and F. And if I understand it, of the override available, the town used 500,000, the school used 381 for 881 or so. Is that correct in 21?
Yes.
For fiscal 21, yes, that's correct.
Plus another 35,000, Barry.
Which was used for,
Balance the budget.
are you,
No.
oh, okay.
No, that was a tax title, and then there was oh geez, a court settlement for 10,000.
Yes, correct.
Okay,
But
yep,
It
I
was
got it
used to
now.
balance, it was used to balance what you owe for fiscal year. You had to use additional override money for those issues to balance your budget.
Correct.
I got it. Thank you.
So the budget that you're presenting is the $66 million number that was on your bottom line of that budget summary that we just had up on the screen, correct?
Correct. Yep.
So Mark, if you subtract out that 35,000, that probably gets you back to the 878 number that you were thinking.
Exactly. Thank you, Angelina. That's exactly what I thought. I was confused at first. Thank you for saying that. So $67,066,474 is the budget you're going to be presenting to the town meeting.
Correct.
Does anybody on the finance committee have any questions? I think that's awesome, Evan. What a
Okay.
great job you and Mary did. And I'm sorry I put you in an embarrassing position by asking the question that I did.
No,
You
yeah,
handled
not,
it, you handled it eloquently.
okay.
So
Good.
thank you. Barry,
Can we go back to, or can we look at the, what do we call it? Budget detail?
Irene, you want to share again, please?
You're muted, Irene. Yeah, the third tab.
Okay, so is everyone seeing it now?
Yes.
Okay, so budget detail.
Budget detail.
Yep,
And roll down to,
there we go.
what is it? Town accountant detail,
Okay, any idea how far down that is?
row 420.
Right here?
Yep, they are. Wow. The first one is that the 21 budget for professional and technical was 58,000, and now it's going down to 15,000. Ouch. What are
Well,
you not
that's-
doing?
That's because they had to hire the consultant to close the books and then they had to, then Tina was on maternity leave, so then they had to come in and process bills and payroll and that's why that's so high.
Okay. So
And
we're
it
going
will
back
be,
down.
it will be even higher because now I have a temp that I'll be paying his, his line out of, and yeah, it's all skewed.
Okay. A lot of the professional and technical was, okay, annual maintenance of financial software. Is that SoftWrite for 15,000?
Yeah.
Where does the soft light right line? live in there?
That might be. No, the profession, I think I'll have to check. I don't think that comes out of my budget, the software.
Yeah.
No,
But it is 31,000 we pay for SoftWrite.
Okay.
And it's broken up by departments.
Oh, boy, that makes it
Yes.
messy.
Yeah.
There's some in the,
'cause
remember
you will
Barry,
go
when
through-
we did there was some in the treasurer's budget, there was some
Right.
in the accountant budget, there was another budget, so that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think we had talked about, not for this year, because there was just too much going on, but in future years, there was talk of consolidating that into like an IT or something, rather than have it spread like that. At least that was one of the
Yes.
discussions that we had.
Correct. Yep. That's what we'll be looking to do as we build the next budget.
Yeah, and that leads to the next question. Are we looking at moving away from SoftWrite and moving to something else?
Yes.
Yeah, so I've been currently meeting, I've met with Munis on the 3 applications, that being tax, accounting, and utility billing. And we've met with Vadar on all 3 applications. And tomorrow we are meeting with SoftWrite on the 3 applications. The IT, he's been involved in all of the meetings, all the live demo presentations. I believe Dave is his
Dave
name?
Robbins.
Dave Robbins?
Yes. So he's been involved in the whole process. And so after we meet with all three vendors, then I'll meet collectively with all the department heads and Dave, and we'll have a discussion. And we have the quotes from, I don't have the quote from SoftWrite yet, but we'll go over the monetary and we'll make a decision collectively.
All right, I'm familiar with Munis. I've seen it. It looks clean. Vadar, I haven't been able to see anything on that.
Munis is a beautiful software, beautiful software package, but
You got $500,000, Barry?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Actually, you're running right toward the question that I was going to have. If you were going to spend all that money, I'm wondering whose head you're going to chop off to acquire their money.
No, Munis is a beautiful software, but it is very spendy. I think, SoftWrite, they're getting away from their SoftWrite package, and what are they called? Springbrook now?
Springbrook, yep.
And then Vadar, they have an intriguing package where, you do your migration, and while your migration has a cost, you can amortize that over 6 years. So the switch to Vadar would cost us pretty much, it would be very close to what we're paying for SoftWrite currently.
Okay.
So
They do give good terms.
yes.
Hey, can I just make a comment? I'm sorry, Barry, did you have anything else?
Nope, thank you.
I love the way you cleaned up the budget detail. Thank you. Looks really good.
Thank you. That, a lot of that
The
is
lines,
really-
the lines line up.
yes.
Yeah.
So some of that is Mary, and some of that is William. William did all the grammar, and Mary went through and cleaned up some numbers. So
No, it looks fantastic. So thank you
Yeah.
very much. It was very easy to go through and follow. So
Good.
thank you very, very much for doing that. Any other questions on the budget to Evan or Mary? All right, Irene, you can stop sharing, please. So what would you like us to do tonight relative to the budget? Do you want us to take a position? Do you want us to, what would you like us to do, Evan?
that's an interesting question, because I was going to ask what you normally do. And the reason I ask is this, if I could hijack your meeting for just a second.
You could, it's your
Mr. Chair.
meeting, Evan. You do whatever you
Okay.
want.
So one of the things that we found when we're looking through the warrant that was a little puzzling to me is that it seems like in Grafton, does the finance committee creates a separate recommendation sheet that is given out at town meeting? Or is that the TA that wrote the separate recommendation sheet?
No, the finance committee, when the warrant gets posted, the finance committee recommendations are contained in the warrant.
Okay,
So what ends up happening is the select board sign off on the warrant. It comes to the finance committee. Next week, we will conduct our public hearing on the 19th, 20th, and the 25th, Susan.
Correct.
Yep, and then we will take positions on the various articles, and Sue will insert into the warrant the finance committee recommendations, and then that gets handed out at town meeting.
okay. Inside the actual, so it'll say Article 1, and then Finance Committee recommendation, it's the article, Finance, okay. Just making sure. That's how Mary and I prefer to do it as well. So I just wanted to make sure. There's like 4,500 drafts of things, and we're having a very hard time navigating where we want to be. So that's good. That's good news.
So, by the way, I like the way you laid out the warrant when you gave it to the select board. It made a lot of sense. It was easy to follow.
Okay,
So
good.
I like that. And if that's what we're gonna get for our
Yes.
public hearings, I think that'll be good. Andy, go ahead.
Hey, so I'm not entirely sure, like the best time to discuss this or if it's worth discussing, but seeing some of the fallout on social about disbanding the Together We Can committee and where that line for 3,000 in budget goes, is that something that's worth discussing and getting into?
We can get into anything you'd like. What would you like us to discuss?
Well, no, I'm more asking because I don't honestly know. I've just heard it mentioned that they're funded by the town.
Right.
If the, the select board disbanded that, I guess my question would be, where does that 3,000 then go? Is, without stepping on any other committee's toes or anything, is it worth us discussing earmarking that somehow so that the next, whatever the next iteration of that committee is, as it seems like there are several people lining up to really get that going, do we
Right.
put that money aside for them? Like, how is there any action that we should consider taking, I guess?
Evan, can I have a follow-up on that? So
Absolutely.
if I understood what the select board voted last night, they disbanded the committee and felt it would be better served being under the school committee, not the select board.
Correct.
So following up on Andy's point, which I think is an excellent point, wouldn't it make sense to take that $3,000 and just add it to the school budget?
No,
Okay, then
no.
that's fine.
So Jay and I and Laura and I, we haven't had any conversation about whether they even want it under the school department umbrella, to be quite honest with you. And I think that, with all due respect to the select board, they believe it should be under the school department. Whether the school committee thinks it should be or not is a separate question entirely. So this is what I would say. If the school committee decided, yes, we want to have that and we want to fund it with $3,000, I will find $3,000 for Jay. I don't think we need to, if we were talking about $50,000, then yes, I'd say we got to either put that in a pot or not raise it in this, and then come back in the special. But for $3,000, knowing that we're a little short on the animal control budget, just throwing it over there for now to cover any shortfall we might have there. We're under capacity, so we can find $3,000 for the school department if they need it.
Andy, does that address your question?
Yeah, it does for me. It just, that seemed to be a concern that there would be that loss of budget and it could affect other things. So I didn't know if it was worth mentioning.
But Heather?
If it does go under the school committee, I mean, I've been on every school's PTO, and we obviously had control of the checkbook, and we had a charter, but we didn't have to go to a meeting monthly and ask to use the funds and write a check and all that. And having been on Bon Voyage last year, it's a huge commitment for these parents, and to have to I'm going to say this and I'll probably get yelled at on Facebook, but to have to go through all the red tape of going through school committee, it's going to be really frustrating. So if it is under, because I don't know if it would be under school committee, who has control of the checkbook? Because obviously that $3,000 went to help basically with Bon Voyage. And then every
Right.
year they raise close to, last year we raised about 20,000. This year they raised about 34,000. And obviously all the, without going into all the politics about the prom voyage and all that stuff that's going on this year, obviously all of the money goes towards senior events.
Right.
So having a senior next year, I know I'm going to be on this committee or what in some form or other, and it's
Yep.
going to be, people have been asking me since last night. My phone has been like, I don't know what's going on.
Right. Right.
So what exactly again, I know this is completely preliminary, but if it did go under the school committee, who would control the checkbook?
So there's as I understand it, which, I got kind of a crash course in Together We Can and Bon Voyage starting like Wednesday of last week. But as I understand it, there are two arms of the Together We Can Bon Voyage thing, and there's two checkbooks in a way. So there's the municipal dollars, that $3,250, and then there's their fundraising arm. And their fundraising arm has to be held under some kind of 501c3. It's not housed anywhere in the town budget.
Correct.
So we don't control that checkbook in any way, shape, or form. And if the committee went under the school committee, I believe it would be the same model whereby tax dollars are controlled by the school committee. The fundraising dollars are controlled solely by that committee that's been appointed. But but quite frankly, I mean, even the $3,000 of Together We Can, once it's appointed, the chair of that committee and that committee have the authority to vote, and they spend that money how they want, really. And I think it would be exactly the same as the school committee. There's
So
no,
basically, we would be, so basically, because everything was disbanded, we would have to create a 50.
I don't think you would.
Okay.
And this is, some of this is my speculation, to be quite honest with you. So the way that it should work is that, Together We Can and Bon Voyage, if they want to fundraise, they need to have a friends organization, which, is housed in a 501c3 so that they can legally fundraise money. That's what I'm assuming is the case here. And so all of the money they talked about fundraising still sits in the 501c3 that was set up by that committee. The town does not have jurisdiction over that nonprofit that was established. So
So you're
together,
saying, so you're saying that Together We Can, not commit, well, the committee
whatever
was
they call it.
disbanded.
Yep.
The
Yes.
committee was disbanded, but the 503c is still active.
Yeah, because
Is
we
that
don't
what-
have anything to do with it. We have
Okay.
no say in that. So, and I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole, this being a finance committee meeting, but I mean, the decision there was, in my opinion, solely pragmatic in that you have a committee that has a charge that did something outside of the scope of the charge that put some liability on the town, and the town needs to sever that relationship. I mean, that's really where that decision comes from. It really doesn't stem from whether or not anyone feels that a prom should be held or shouldn't be held. If the school department decides something, then the town committees and boards, should be pretty close to lockstep with that. And if not, they should be having a conversation with the group that needs to be. So,
Makes sense. Irene, I
Yeah.
saw your hand up before. Did you have a question?
No, I was gonna add, but Evan already covered everything.
Okay.
Only because working on the school side, I understand about student activities, et cetera, but Evan got it all. I don't have anything to add to what he said.
Evan, that political step of yours, that 1-2 step that you do is really good. I love it.
As long as.
We call that a kabuki dance. We call that a kabuki dance in Groton, so I love it. Good job. Dan, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to be clear. When you said there's a 501c3, is that something that you know, or is that part of the sort of maybe speculation?
That's part of the speculation. And the reason I say that is let me add a caveat there, I guess. There should be a 501c3 in order to do any legal fundraising connected to that type of activity. Now, there are a couple other mechanisms, but if there were other mechanisms, we would know that they exist. And so having done this for long enough, that really is the model, is that, you like, think of Friends of the Library, right? That the reason a Friends group exists is because that's the fundraising arm. And then the library is the taxpayer funded government side.
Yeah, so I created all the 501(c)(3)s for all the schools, because we didn't have those mechanisms when I was on the board. So I created them through the combination of Millbury Street and South Grafton when we reorganized the schools. To be honest with you, I've never seen anything at the high school. So that's where I get really nervous, because hopefully by disbanding, they didn't kind of put us in a really tough spot. I mean, it's not difficult to file, but it's just something that we need to file now, so that when we do start fundraising in like August,
Yep.
for the incoming seniors, we're not sort of doing it illegally.
Yeah, and I guess my concern is that it was being done illegally already. And so, we would have to get to the root of that.
I
That's
did
my
not
thought.
watch last night. Was it, who from Together We Can was there? Was it Kathy Cedarberg?
No, it was Debbie
Trapasso.
Trapasso. Thank you. I was gonna say Debbie, who I just met for that one part.
Okay. All right. So I'm assuming that's going to have to be a conversation. Well, I would say with the town, but obviously if you don't know, then I guess. we'll have to
Well, we
figure out.
don't know, but I'm happy to to have that conversation with anybody from the now disbanded group. If anybody wants to have a follow-on conversation, they can certainly call me at the office and we can kind of walk through any of
Do you
that.
have the charter? Their charter?
Their charge? Yes,
Yeah, you do. Okay.
I do. Yeah, from 1996.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, Evan, I have some really good news and I'm not sure how you're gonna be able to handle this, but I'm going to tell you that the Senate Ways and Means budget is $324 higher than the House budget for Grafton. So
Awesome.
don't spend that all in one place.
I was gonna get Mary a company car with that, but now that you made it public, we're gonna have to do it on the up and up.
Any other, Andy, I'm glad you brought that up. I thought that was a good,
Yeah.
good question. Okay, so any other questions for Evan? I'm looking at the agenda and it says that we're supposed to talk about the capital budget or anything else there. Has that changed at all?
Yes, I believe, sorry, Sue had her hand up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Sue was trying to signal you, Mark.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking at the agenda. I had my screen closed. Please forgive me. Go ahead, Sue.
No, that's absolutely fine. When we started out before the Together We Can discussion, I think we wanted to see which way how we were going to move forward with the number for operating for FY
Oh, yes.
22.
So thank you for bringing us back. Thank you, Andy. You took me out of my rhythm and now I'm all confused. Thank God Sue's here to correct me.
So,
So let me ask this question. So the budget's 67 some odd million dollars. The
Yeah.
Finance Committee has held several public hearings on it. We've had several meetings with Evan, but we're scheduled to review the actual warrant in a public hearing next week.
Yes,
Would you prefer, Evan and Sue, that we wait before we take a position on the budget during the public hearing? Or is this something that we can dispense with now and not have to deal with? Because I don't see during the public hearing on the warrant us having any more information. I think Evan has done his job and he's done it very well, him and Mary. What's your
so,
thoughts, Sue or Evan?
Sue, you can go first if you'd like.
thank you, Evan.
I'd love to hear your,
You don't hear what I have to say.
yeah,
Well, my suggestion is to basically break down all the numbers so that, in other words, exactly if the $738,000 is coming from the override fund, what we have for school department number, and just a basic total number for FY22 municipal side, so that everyone can understand the budget, possibly vote on it if the committee chooses to do that now, and then take questions as we would any other time at our normal public hearings.
Finance Committee members, what is your preference? I think that's a great suggestion. Or Evan, do you have anything you want to add to that?
I have a similar approach, but it might be, it's just a little tweak on what Sue said. The way that I've liked to do it in the past is that when you look at the omnibus, which is under that summary page, and you look at, the breakout for general government, public safety, public works, sewer, so on and so forth. Generally speaking, we like to ask that the Finance Committee vote those lines and that number. And now there's two ways we can do that. You could do that tonight, or when we bring the warrant to you next week, we will have the omnibus embedded in the warrant. And you can deal with it when you get to that article. Either way would work for us.
Finance Committee, what's your pleasure? I'm personally ready to go tonight because I don't see anything changing. I think Evan and Mary have done a great job. We've had several discussions. They did things that we asked them to do, which I appreciate. I think it's a great budget. So, Dan, did I see your hand go up? No? Barry, do you have an opinion?
That was just my cat walking across. I was
Oh,
petting her to go by.
hey, before we answer that question, hey, Mary, I just want to let you know that Groton, we got 6,000 more dollars in the Senate budget. I can get you the car. I'm joking. Go ahead, Sue.
I agree. I think we can vote on it tonight. And I do like the idea of Evan suggesting that the Finance Committee vote each of these line items.
Okay, so everybody, is that good with everybody?
So let me just clarify. So Sue Robbins, you mean the general government, the public
Yes.
safety, the public works? Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
So can everybody see the screen?
Yeah, can we, hey,
No,
Mary?
because I stopped sharing. Do you want me to share again?
No, I put it up. So you guys can't see my screen?
No.
Oh. there's
I can
something wrong
see
with
it.
my computer.
I
I
can
can
I
see
can
it.
see it.
Oh,
Okay.
maybe I'm seeing it and I don't realize it.
Go ahead. Ed, did somebody want to say something? Evan? Mary?
Mary, are you, is that your preference as well?
Yeah, yep.
Okay. I just,
Okay,
Double
so up on the screen, we have a total budget of $67,066,474. And that's with the sewer rate adjustment, which sewer receipt adjustment, which makes sense. We can vote that too. So to follow what Evan's asking, I would entertain a motion to approve the general government budget at $2,737,683.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor by roll call? Barry?
Do we have a discussion first?
Oh, go ahead, discussion. I'm sorry. I forgot that step. Forgive me.
Okay, I'll discuss. I'm a little confused by, I'm looking underneath page 1, FY22 Town Administrator for the non-appropriated expenses. Wouldn't there be dollar figures in there somewhere?
no, so the non-appropriated expenses was something that they did pre-override, is my understanding. So they put basically a contingent budget, and that's where that would go. We don't have a contingent budget.
So
What you-
everything that would have been in the old budget is up top.
Right,
Okay,
yes.
I like that. That's so much cleaner.
We like the what you see is what you get approach. I don't want to put it anywhere else.
Anything else, Barry?
okay, go ahead. Never
No, I'm
mind.
asking, please. Do you have something else?
No, I like where it says state assessments. I know we have to pay that. They're gonna come back and assess us.
Well, that would be raised on the recap sheet. It's not part of the operating budget.
And that's already called out in the revenue projection sheet.
Okay,
All
That's what I
all of
thought.
that's, even like your local receipts, that's all in your revenue. Yeah, the overlay, that's in your revenue. I've never seen it done this way before.
It usually isn't. So that what you're doing is a lot cleaner.
Yeah, it just inflates the numbers, really.
And we had a hard time last year trying to figure out what the actual budget number was
Right.
because of that. I am so confident that the budget is $67,066,474. Feels good. It's a good number. I'm gonna go play the lottery tonight after this meeting. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor for general government 2.737683 signify by saying aye. Barry?
aye,
Sue?
Aye.
Angelina?
Aye.
Irene?
Aye.
Andy?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
Mark, aye. I would entertain a motion that we support the public safety budget as presented from the town administrator at $3,667,005. Is there a
So moved.
motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
second,
Any further discussion? I remember that step this time, Barry. All those in favor by roll call vote signify by saying aye. Barry?
Barry, aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Angelina?
Aye.
Irene?
Aye.
Andy?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
Mark, aye. I'd entertain a motion for Public Works in the amount of $3,268,591. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Barry?
Barry, aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Angelina?
Aye.
Irene?
Aye.
Andy?
Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
For a sewer budget and a sewer budget of $1,161,794, along with sewer receipts to offset that amount in the same amount. I would entertain a motion. Is there?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second,
Under discussions, everybody understand what I did there?
Yep.
I'm washing it out because the 1.1 is the exact same number of the receipts that they're using to offset. That's the first time that we've seen it done this way, and it makes so much sense. It's beautiful. I love it. Go ahead, Barry.
I still get, see, this is what happens when you read a municipal accounting book. Sewer is an enterprise. We're saying it's really supposed to be self-contained, but we're showing the money in and the money out, even though it is an enterprise account. And that's,
Yeah,
That's how it works.
yeah, and that's how we like to show it. Barry,
yeah,
because
well, I understand that. I also understand the reason for doing that,
Okay,
because if you go up a 1% in your overall budget, this boosts it a little bit more.
right.
Okay, yep.
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor by roll call signify by saying aye. Barry,
Aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Angelina,
Hi.
thank you. I thought you froze.
No, I
Irene?
said it twice.
Irene,
aye.
Andy,
Aye.
Heather,
Hi.
Dan,
Aye.
Mark, aye. I'd entertain a motion for Health and Human Services in the amount of $579,851. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a
Second.
second? Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Barry,
Barry, aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Angelina,
Hi.
Irene,
Aye.
Andy,
Aye.
Heather,
Hi.
Dan,
Aye.
Mark, aye. Culture and Recreation in the amount of $1,263,059. Can I hear a motion?
Moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by
Oh,
saying
oh,
aye.
I'm sorry.
Barry? Oh, go ahead.
I was trying to get, that line item has gone up. Is there a reason why it's gone up even with the COVID restrictions? There's some stuff that they're not going to be doing.
No, I think it went up because of the library is in that line.
Yeah, okay, that'll do it.
And
Never mind.
if you go to the FY 22 budget tab, I've color coded it. So those colors in there will be color coded in the second tab, so you could see what makes up those numbers.
Nice.
It's a great idea. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Barry,
Barry, aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Angelina,
Aye.
Irene,
Aye.
Andy,
Aye.
Heather,
Hi.
Dan?
Aye.
Mark, aye. I'd entertain a motion to support the school department budget, education budget of $39,707,473.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second,
Second,
Is there any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Barry,
Barry, aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Angelina,
Hi.
Irene,
aye.
Andy,
Aye.
Heather,
Hi.
Dan,
Aye.
Mark, aye. Unclassified, which includes our pension and insurance budgets and the like, in the amount of $8,924,857. And what was the total increase in health insurance there, Evan?
3%.
3%. Thank you, Mary. I should say from now on, Mary, what's the amount, right? Just go right over you, Evan.
I was
I'm joking.
yelling out 3%, but I was mute. Okay, just to be clear.
I'm joking. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second,
Barry, any further discussion? Barry?
Isn't that a minor miracle that the health insurance only went up 3%?
Not this year. We had our health insurance rates go up about the same.
Okay,
Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Barry,
Barry, aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Angelina,
Aye.
Irene,
Aye.
Andy,
Aye.
Heather,
Aye.
Dan.
Aye.
Mark, aye. Debt service in the amount of $5,949,175. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a
Second.
second? Under further discussion, that includes the refinancing that you did, Evan? That's why you're able to
Correct.
have it go down the way it did?
Yes.
Yep.
That's nice. That's excellent. Is most of the refinance excluded debt?
A big chunk of it is, yes. Yeah,
Good, so
Which
see,
is-
our taxes won't go up as high.
right. It's great, but it really has a bummer of an effect, like you do all this work and it saves like $6. You know,
As,
but I
as
mean,
one of,
it has an outsized effect, but per person, it's like, oh man.
as one of my select board members in Groton would say, it would buy him a cheesesteak sub. So it's greatly appreciated. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Barry,
Barry, aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Angelina,
Aye.
Irene,
Aye.
Andy,
Aye.
Heather,
Aye.
Dan,
Aye.
Mark, aye. And finally, the BVT assessment in the amount of $968,780. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a
Second.
second?
Second.
Barry, I see you. Calm down. I have to have a motion on the floor before you can discuss it. I see you. I can't miss you. Barry, under further discussion.
Under further discussion, going backward, who was the bonding agent for the refinancing?
David Eisenthal. Am I saying that right? Correctly?
Yeah.
Eisenthal?
He
Yes.
said Unibank?
Yes, correct.
Okay, yep.
Yeah, he was fantastic to work with. First time I've ever worked with him, but very, very good.
Oh, yes.
Unibank is phenomenal.
Yeah, we used Unibank in Munson, but it was a different rep. And David is just, he was fantastic. I really can't say enough about him.
Yeah, we've used him for several years.
Yeah, very good.
Any further discussion on this particular line item? I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Barry,
Barry, aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Angelina,
Aye.
Irene,
Aye.
Andy,
Aye.
Heather,
Aye.
and Dan,
Aye.
and Mark, aye. Evan and Mary, great job. Thank you very, very much for what you did. Thank you for getting us the information in advance. Thank you for making it easy for us to follow and all the information you gave us. I think it's outstanding. It's a good budget. And I have so much confidence that the budget going to town meeting this year is the budget that's going to town meeting this year.
Thank you.
Being
We,
accurate. So thank you very much. And you did that in a very short period of time.
thank you. I know that, Mary put a really Herculean effort into cleaning up a lot of this, and a lot of that credit is solely in her court. So, really great work, and everybody came together in Grafton, quite honestly. We pulled on a lot of strings, and people were fantastic to work with, including all of you at the Finance Committee. So we appreciate that as well.
That's great to hear. Go ahead, Sue.
Thank you. So Evan and Mary, I'm assuming this is what's going to happen. So this would be Appendix A, and it will be included next week, right in the warrant.
Correct.
I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say.
I know, you're
Okay.
shocked, aren't you?
Yes. So, and then
The budget in advance.
Appendix B will be capital.
Correct.
Okay. And then anything that has a dollar amount or a listing, such as any transfers in the special.
Yes.
An example would be Board of Health that, to offset their budget for FY21.
Right.
Will all those listings be in there for us as well?
Yes.
Wow.
That is great. Thank you.
Yeah, I want to give you one caveat though. So they will be in there. That doesn't mean that we won't have some last minute thing pop up that we ask you to amend a previous vote by some minute number.
Sure.
But by and large, it will be as it will look at town meeting.
Wonderful, thank you.
You're welcome.
So, capital budget, Evan, is there any changes in the capital budget that we need to understand? Or do you want to wait till the public hearing, or how do you want to handle that?
We can talk about capital budget. Sue, did we send that to you as part of the warrant? The last page, appendix B, is it already in there?
No,
Okay.
not yet, not yet. Mhm,
Okay, just bear with me for 1 second. I need to.
Sure.
Pull it up here.
Evan, I may stand corrected on that, meaning that everything that the finance committee received was the original.
Okay.
William did send me something the other day, but I didn't send it because I'm waiting for the signatures.
Okay. Let me. You're waiting for the signed document, Sue?
Yes, I didn't want to confuse sending another document yesterday with what finance committee had already received.
Understood. I'm sorry, bear with me for 1 more second.
I don't think it was in there, though.
No, I just got to figure out where it is while I'm remote here.
Mhm.
Would be a lot easier if William didn't send me 900 emails a day. Let's see here. All right, I apologize. I don't have it at my fingertips here. I need to log in here.
That's all right.
CI, I have it. I have it right here. Here it is.
Those of you watching at home, we are in a pause.
Yep,
The
sorry.
screens are not frozen.
All right, so let me, sorry, I found it and let me share my screen. Sorry about that. Okay.
Oh, this is great.
So this is actually the warrant. This is appendix B as it will look. Which I don't believe has changed. I think it's the same.
What's the total?
Total is, and I do not know how to use this computer tonight. It's
65,000 for a refrigerator?
well, we're getting an extra $324 from the state, Barry. Don't worry about it. Where is my appendix B? So it is, and bear with me because this is our draft, but it's 1.275 million.
And how much are you taking from the, you're taking 500 from the stabilization fund?
500 from stabilization and 775,000 from the transfer of the override money.
So are we still, so here's my confusion.
Sure.
Why aren't we taking 800 from the capital stabilization fund? Maybe we don't raise the full amount. Don't we lose it if we don't appropriate it?
It just won't be raised on the, yes, it won't be raised on the tax rate.
So will we still have that extra 300,000 for next year? Or do we lose it? Or do we only have 500,000 for the following year? Wasn't there an issue, finance committee, that we dealt with last year? Remember, we raised it from 6 to 8 to make sure that we had the full amount? Or is that only in the first year that matters?
My understanding, Mark, was that was the first year
Okay,
that it mattered.
okay.
And so bear in mind that this is what I received from CIPC, and I don't have the benefit of having gone through their meetings as to why they had this breakdown. I can certainly get that for you, though.
I would like to
Maybe.
understand it. I just want to make sure
Yep,
that we don't lose that 300,000, because at the fall town meeting, I got up and made a motion to increase it to 800 so we wouldn't lose it.
right, so it's
And then- and then my-
775,
and then I got into trouble with a lot of people who said, why are you raising my taxes? So
right.
I
So,
hope I
so
didn't do that in
the,
vain.
so the 775 is the override money, and the 500,000 is the, nope, never mind. I apologize. I'm saying it backwards. Dan has his hand up, Mark.
Oh, go ahead, Dan, I'm sorry. Dan? Is Dan frozen or am I frozen?
Yeah. No, Dan might actually be frozen.
All right,
Oh,
so
there he
Dan's
goes.
frozen. Oh, there he is. Dan?
Am I back? All right.
You're
Yeah, I was
back.
frozen. So I missed the last like 15 to 30 seconds, but the thing I want to say was this is 500,000 of spending, not 500,000 raised. So it seems to me like we would be raising the full 800, but only spending 500,000 of it and keeping 300,000 in the stabilization account.
Ah,
That's
okay,
my
that
guess.
makes sense. I
No,
got you.
Yep. Dan's correct. Smart move, Dan. Very good.
Thank you, Dan, for explaining that to me. I was confused. That makes perfect sense. So
I'm
still
glad I'm frozen
full
time
amount.
to get that in.
Yeah, I mean, I only do this for a living, so, don't hold me accountable.
So, based on that, so it really hasn't changed from what you gave us during the public hearing. It looks pretty much the same amount that
Right.
you guys had presented, the same budget. So I guess we'll take this up during the public hearing, but I'm very comfortable with that number.
Okay. The other thing,
Any other,
actually,
go ahead, Angelina. I'm sorry,
no, that's,
Evan, I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, go ahead.
Angelina?
So I apologize because this is only my second meeting, but what is the reasoning behind taking more out of free cash and less out of the capital stabilization fund?
So the capital stabilization fund, as Dan pointed out correctly, that's where your 800,000 override money is going into that stabilization account. And then you're going to draw down on that. So I don't know what the top of mind, what the balance is in there, but they may be doing that to preserve for another round of capital that they plan on doing. Dan, not my meeting, but Dan, is that your understanding as well?
You can ask
I mean-
anybody anything you want, Evan.
He had his hand up, so.
Well, I think it would be best to kind of just get the answer from CIPC, what their intention was there, but that's my
Yeah.
guess too,
Yeah.
as what it would be. The other thing that I wanted to just mention was, I'm not sure, because I don't do this for a living, I'm not sure if we need to do anything, like we need to actively do anything like vote as town meeting or anything to raise that 800,000 again, or if it somehow became automatic after the first time, or how that works. So I just want to make sure that was mentioned.
Stu, before I go to you, I see Colleen is in the attendee. And Colleen, I'm gonna promote you to panelist. And if you can answer that question, I appreciate it. She's probably gonna kill me, but that's her fault for being an attendee and me seeing her. Sue, while we're waiting for Colleen to decide whether or not she's gonna answer the question, you have a
I was
question?
just going to say the numbers that we came up with are where we asked Carter how much we should spend and where it would be coming from. This was his recommendation.
Okay, all right. I guess Colleen actually is not there, so I feel bad that I did that to her, so I will probably pay that price tomorrow. Sue, do not allow me, Sophia, do not allow me to be a co-host in any of these meetings anymore. I get into too much trouble.
The- Well,
Colleen is
Go
there,
ahead, Evan.
muted.
while,
Go ahead,
while I-
Evan.
while I have you all, I did want to take your temperature on something that I've done for a number of years, but it can go either way as to people's opinion on how this works. So if you'll see in the warrant, this draft warrant that I have up on the screen now, it says recommendation. This is what William, you won't be making motions because the select board makes motions, but what we were planning on doing is having it say recommendation, finance committee recommendation right here, and then your narrative. What I've done in months and in past years is I pre-populate it with the most likely discussion, because the finance committee found it helpful to have written recommendations and not do them on the fly as part of a vote. But we can just as easily not have those included, take your process and then just dump them into the warrant.
I like having the motions right in the warrant. I think it's awesome. I think it allows that way you're not handing out a second piece of paper, and the people will have the warrant and the motion right underneath. It's all in one place to look without looking back and forth, having the warrant in one hand and the motions in the other hand. I like this. I'm gonna steal this, Evan.
Okay.
Okay. I see Colleen is here.
Hello, how is everybody?
Good.
So this
So
is me
you-
doing it on my phone, which is a little weird for me. I apologize.
But
So
so
what-
the
what
question,
was the-
go ahead.
Yeah, what was the question? If you guys could just ask it again, that would be good.
Yeah, why are we taking, Angelina had a question. Why are we only taking, if there's 800,000, why are we only taking 500 out and taking more out of free cash?
We're doing that because part of the override was to generate a funding source so that we could get away from the leasing culture we have. And in order to do that, we have to kind of tuck away a little each year so that we can make bigger purchases down the road.
So Evan was actually right.
What are the odds? What are the odds?
Evan, I'm sorry. I was the only one that spoke. How's the rest of the finance committee feel about putting the motions into the warrant?
I like that.
Everybody good with that? We all thumbs up? Evan, I have a question on Article
Sure.
13. I see you have a required vote majority. Isn't that supposed to be 2/3 since you're taking money out of a stabilization fund? It's a
Yes.
majority vote. It's a
Correct.
majority vote to
Yep.
put money in,
So,
2/3 to take money out.
yes, agreed. I'll have William edit it. I don't know that Sue, when we sent you over the draft, it didn't have the required votes on it, correct?
No, it did have required votes on the first one.
Well,
I'm
Okay.
sorry, I just noticed that, and that's why.
no,
I asked.
that's a good catch. I missed that one.
I have not seen this one, Evan. I have not seen what is on the screen.
No, this has not been released. So this is
Okay.
our working document. So we
Yeah.
send out, the article. But then we add other things like our vote count. We're gonna add an explanation on each one. So that some of the ones that are, some of these are kind of on the nose, right? I mean, the warrant article tells you what it does. But there's some of them that are not as, if you don't go to town meeting a lot, they're not as clear. So like, I always like to do this one. So where you hear the town reports. So it explains that we don't do that anymore. That's from years past, and now it's all electronic, or you hear the reports that way. But I do that because we spent 45 minutes on that question one year. That literally one sentence probably could have cleared that up for a lot of folks. So,
Yes.
So I see we're gonna do the consent agenda this meeting. I love it.
yes. Oh, I love consent agenda.
Consent agenda. Listen, we had last Saturday when we did our meeting, we had 5 different consents, and we did the budget by consent.
Oh, wow.
One motion. There was no debate. We passed the $45 million budget in 30 seconds. It
Yeah.
was awesome. It was
I
awesome.
think we will look to expand our use of consent, moving forward, but I know that in the fall was your first time in Grafton using it, and, I don't want to go whole hog and change everything in 1 year.
I love it. I think it's awesome. All right, so thank you for that. So does anybody, you want to wait until we do the public hearing next week on the capital budget? Everybody's good with it though, as presented, right? Any questions? All right. So I think, Evan, I believe that is all we have for you. We're gonna have our public hearings next week, the 19th, 20th, and 25th. We're gonna meet with the Finance Committee, Selectmen, and School Committee, or moderator rather, on the 27th. Is that the date?
Yes.
Excellent. So I guess, Evan, while we have you here, before we let you go, we're holding on to Sue as long as possible.
Mhm.
And we're not going to let her go ever. But she may not want to commute from New York once we start meeting in person again.
Right.
So I guess we should probably, I know Sue sent the job description that we had worked on before to you. So if you want to go ahead and advertise the job, we'd
Okay.
appreciate it.
Okay. Yes, I will do that. What's the process after that? Screen people? Do you want me to bring you all the candidates? Do you want me to screen candidates? How do you like to process that?
I was going to suggest to the Finance Committee that we form a subcommittee of 3 members to work with you in doing the screening and the interviewing, and then bring a finalist before the full Finance Committee to save time and stuff. That was going to be my recommendation to the FinCom tonight. How do you guys feel about that? Is that good? I'd like to volunteer to be one of our 3 members. Barry, you would like to also?
Yeah, okay. I'd like to see all the resumes just to get an idea.
I'd like to
Sue,
interview.
you'd like to volunteer?
Yeah.
Okay. So Evan, if we can send all the resumes to the FinCom, and then Barry,
Yep.
Sue, and I will be your subcommittee to work with you on figuring out who we're going to interview. We can get feedback from the rest of the members.
Yep.
And then the 4 of us can do the interviews and then decide who we're going to bring forward.
Sure.
Is that okay with the FinCom? Okay, great. That was easy. And then, Sue, am I missing anything else?
No, I think we're in pretty good shape, other than one might want to take a look at the end of the fiscal year date, which Mary and I briefly spoke about, of moving it right to the very end of the fiscal year. Just so that, Mary, do you want to speak to that? Do you mind?
Oh, for line item transfers?
For line item, yes.
Don't you want to wait
So-
until like July 12th or 13th, since you have until the 15th? I'm sorry, go ahead, Mary.
I think I'll be okay by the 30th. I might need some money for some shortages if the GM is supposed to ratify, and I'm hoping to do the retro beginning of June. Most of the line items have the capacity. Some, I might be a little shy. So I wanted enough time to come back and ask for some transfers for those shortages, if there are any.
So do you want us to pick a date tonight? Or do you want to come back to us? Because if you need more time, you have until the 15th of July to close the books. We can meet later in July if you want.
Okay, let me get back to you then.
Okay.
Okay,
Just that way you don't have to rush you, because you do have that 2 weeks
Right.
time frame to close the books.
right. But I just guess I wasn't sure of, the past practices. I know, in Munson, they did not like meeting in July because, you
Right.
got the holiday and all of that. And
Right.
So if you're okay meeting in July, I'm okay with meeting in July.
Evan, I'm gonna assume the select board have meetings that first week or second week of July,
Yes.
because we have to do it in conjunction with the select board, so
Yep.
we'll just
Why
attend a
don't,
select board meeting.
why don't we, Mary, why don't we look at the date and then send it over to finance committee and if,
Okay.
they're in agreement, then we'll pencil that in.
Yeah, I would actually, yeah, I would do July 9th because that's your Wednesday.
Yeah, so hey, I have the select board come to us. That's awesome.
I was gonna say, let me check on that.
All right. You let us know. You let us know and we'll make sure we're there. We're gonna see you next. You can tell us, we're gonna see you guys next week
Okay.
anyway. All right, so we have a bunch of minutes that we have to approve. Minutes for March 6th, 10th, 13th, 20th, and 24th. I'd entertain a motion to approve them as presented unless there's any questions.
So,
Is there a motion?
so moved.
Is there a second? Any further discussion? All those in favor by roll call, Barry,
Barry, aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Angelina,
Aye.
Irene,
Aye.
Andy?
Aye.
Heather,
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
And Mark, aye. So that's unanimous. Sue Fiacco, am I missing anything?
We have a bill, outstanding bill.
We have a
It's,
bill for the nameplate for Angelina.
Yes,
How much is it for?
$17.
They charge by the letter because she has the longest name on the finance committee.
$17.86.
I'd entertain a motion to approve that bill as presented.
So moved.
Second,
Second,
Is there a second?
second,
All those in favor by roll call vote, Barry,
Barry, aye.
Sue,
Aye.
Angelina,
Aye.
Irene,
Aye.
Andy,
Aye.
Heather,
Aye.
Dan.
Aye.
Mark, aye. So the other thing that I see on the agenda, just to give an update, Dan and I had a conversation the other day, and that's the finance committee members that are up for reappointment next year, which I believe is Irene, Dan, and Angelina. I reached out to Representative Meridian today, and he just got back to me. And it's still bouncing between committees, and it kind of stalled, but he thinks he's gonna be able to get it through hopefully soon, but it doesn't look like it's gonna get done before the end of the year, so it would revert back to the moderator making those appointments, because that's the way the bylaw works, and the election is coming up, so we will have a brand new moderator. So Sue, we should probably reach out to the moderator and let her, it's a her, right? Let her know that we were recommending that unless Angelina, did you let Sue know if you wanted to be reappointed?
I don't think I did, but I do want to.
Thank you, Angelina.
And I
It didn't
assume
scare you
Irene and
away?
Dan, you already let us know.
She broke our budget. She better stay on.
So Irene and Dan also, so if you can let the moderator know at the appropriate time, Sue, that would be great.
Yes.
And hopefully she will reappoint the three of you. Barry,
There's some kind of
Barry?
town moderator training or whatever, or is it just stand up there and go?
your guess is as good as mine.
There's a
There-
book.
there
I'm
is-
hoping
I
that,
think it's called being in touch with Ray.
No, there is a book for moderators and they do have some workshops, so.
Okay.
whether
Yeah,
she-
Mass
there is a
moderators.
moderators association.
Yep,
Right.
and so I have an extra copy of town meeting time if the new person needs it, so.
That is the moderator's Bible, the town meeting time.
I love that.
All right, so thank you. Evan, Mary, you guys are ladies and gentlemen, you guys are the best. I really appreciate everything you've done for the finance committee this year. You've made this the easiest in the 4 years I've been on the FinCom, the easiest process we've ever done on the budget. So thank you very, very much. Between you and Carter, it was a real pleasure. So thank you very, very much for that.
Good, thank
Is
you.
there anything else that we would like to talk about? All right, then I will declare us adjourned, and we will see you all next Wednesday at 7.
7. Yes.
Yep.
7 PM.